hello everybody out there in Corona captivity. My name is Kevin Rutledge. I am the pastor at First Baptist Church, the teaching pastor, and this is my son, Xander.
I'm the assistant.
And he is assisting me today. He's going to help me to explain the Passover Seder setup. We're going to be doing an online Passover meal on Good Friday night. So that's Friday, April 10th at 7 o'clock p.m. We're going to be starting on Facebook Live and on a YouTube live stream. So you can find us in either one of those spots. But as we're doing it, it'll be interactive, and we're going to go through a whole Passover meal together. And the Passover meal is rich in history. It started 1,500 years before Christ as God led his people Israel out of Egypt through the Red Sea and into the wilderness where they would eventually get to the Promised Land. So this Passover meal has great significance as we look back to that, and and all of the elements are interactive and they help you experience the journey that the Israelites had. But it also points forward. This ancient meal pointed forward to Jesus Christ and what he does for us and what he has done for us, the completed work of Christ. And so all of these elements look both backwards and forwards, and it's an interactive family meal. It's an amazing thing to do. I hope you will join us for it. And if you're going to, this needs to be set up before 7 o'clock on Friday night, April 10th. So we're going to explain how you set up your Seder meal. There's a few interesting elements, but a lot of them are very normal. So first of all, we have bread. Xander, you want to show us the bread?
This is nice bread.
It's nice bread, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it? What kind of bread is it? Is that special or fancy?
I think it is.
It's not though. It's actually just white bread.
It's special in the way that you don't eat it.
Okay, yes, and you don't eat this bread. This bread is actually just there because you have to cleanse all the leavened bread out of the house. So we're going to cleanse that out of the house. Yeah, you just throw it away. So that's what you do on Passover Seder night. And you might want to actually have a bowl or something to collect that. But, Xander doesn't like bowls. So you can either be wasteful or you can be conserving of your bread. Either way you want to go. So the bread is important. Have a few full slices of that around. But then we also have candles. Now, notice the candles here. They're actually lit right now. You want to test those out for us, Xander? Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't actually burn because it's
so
electrical.
hot.
We actually have only electrical lights and this one candle in our household. So we have to use the electrical ones as our examples, but you will need the ones that you can actually light, and you'll need a lighter for that. So just have a few decorative candles because this is supposed to be an evening meal that happens as the sun is setting. And so you need the candles, you need the bread, and then you're also going to need 4 cups. And right here we have labels for each one of the 4 cups, and those 4 cups are basically the outline for the Seder meal. So as you're doing the Seder meal, these will actually show you what part of the meal you're in. And you'll need those filled up for the leader of the meal. So there will be one head of the table. And then you'll also need all of these place settings. See, we have chairs and plates. And these are our fancy ice cream bowls that we're using just for you as our Seder cups. So these are the cups that we're using. But you might be fancier. If you don't want to be really fancy, you can just use a solo cup. That's totally fine. But just as fancy. And so you have to have the cups, you have to have the place settings. There's actually supposed to be an extra chair too for Elijah. Elijah is not going to come to your house most likely, but the idea at the Passover meal is that you have an extra chair there for Elijah. It's part of the meal. So have an extra chair at your table. Well, when he doesn't show up, but if he did, that'd be a different story, right? So also, during this meal, you'll have to wash your hands. So, Xander, do you want to show us this bowl? Just stick your hand in there. Yeah.
That's freezing.
It's a nice cold bowl of water. And it's cold, but it's supposed to be a big enough bowl that you can put your hand down in there because you're supposed to wash your hands off. And we don't have a towel, do we?
I got a towel.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you should probably have a towel around for that as well. So Xander found one quickly. He was ready for this. So we have to have a bowl for washing. We have to have karpas. Karpas just means raw vegetables, but parsley is the preferred raw vegetable. So right here you see a parsley sprig, and what you're going to do with that is you're going to dip it into a bowl of salt water. So make sure you have salt water around. And then what you're going to do with that is you're going to eat it. You want to eat that for us? Mmm. Is that magical? Magical. It's magic. Salty? He's gonna make it through. Okay, so
I
we're
put
gonna
like a full thing of salt in there.
yummy salt water with parsley. Can't go wrong with that.
Not bad.
Oh, not bad. Good. I'm glad you like it. So there's a lot of interesting textures, a lot of interesting things that you're going to have during this meal. So parsley with salt water is one of them, and all of these have meanings, as we'll see when we have the meal. We also have the matzah is a big part of that. And so not only do you need karpas or parsley and salt, you're going to have a towel or a napkin in which you have 3 pieces of this. This is matzah, and we baked it ourselves last night.
I didn't know you knew how to cook.
I don't, but I had a recipe, and with just flour, water, and salt, you have matzah. It's not supposed to be a rising thing. It's a very quick recipe. We'll have it in our description, and in all of the links, we'll have resources for you to make all this stuff yourself. And this is the all-out way to go. 3 pieces of fresh baked, unleavened bread right there. In your towel, or Xander, show us the easier way. You could also just buy some saltine crackers. These, I believe, for some reason, are wheat crackers. I don't know why, but they are. And you can easily use that as well. The weird thing about this is that instead of having 3 giant pieces of matzah, you would only have 3 tiny crackers of matzah, which is a little bit awkward, but you'll still get by. So, and if you don't want to do that, I'm sure you can find all sorts of things. You know, get a Triscuit, something. It's supposed to be striped and pierced, but you don't necessarily have to. If you're just going to get by, it's okay. So, and also you can order the matzah from Amazon.com. Now, also, one of these matzah pieces is supposed to be your afikomen or dessert piece that's going to get hidden in the house somewhere for the kids in your household to go play hide and seek.
I'm a kid.
Find that. Are you a kid?
I am a kid.
Would you rather have a nice piece of unleavened bread, or would you like to have something else? Maybe a Jolly Rancher.
Now, me personally, I would like the bread, but you know, a lot of people like the candy.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's really unhealthy.
It is unhealthy, right? So you need to go for the healthy, unleavened bread, right? But since kids do like that, I would keep some desserts around, maybe a bag of candy of some sort, that for the kid that finds that, you can give them the prize dessert. And that would be a great thing for that night. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're getting close to the end of the things you're going to need. You might be saying, thankfully. So after all of that, the next thing to talk about is the maror. And this is a really interesting part of the Passover Seder. The maror, we have horseradish right here, which is the traditional item to be used for that. Now, we peeled a little bit of this off and shaved some pieces, which, oh my goodness, Xander just ate. And how does that taste right now there, Xander?
Kind of bitter.
Kind of bitter? Does it have a little bit of burn? It looks like there's some tears coming to your eyes there, buddy.
I don't know what you mean.
Are you okay? Yeah, you're crying. You're totally crying. You better have a glass of water or something. That's gonna be salt water there, buddy.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, something just turned ugly. Okay,
I'll be right
you're
back.
excused. Go ahead. Okay, so don't do that. That's not what we want to do for our Passover Seder. But the maror, if you don't have horseradish, you can also go, not the all-out horseradish way, which I got this at Jewel. You can find it at different grocery stores sometimes. Some grocery stores have it, some don't. But Jewel does. And if you don't want to buy your own root, you can also get just a jar of it in the mayo mustard section of your store. And that will be a great substitute. And if you really want to go the easy man's road and not even buy something, then you can go to Arby's drive-thru and just ask for a packet of horsey sauce. And that'll get you by. And you can put that on your piece of broken off matzah when the time comes. So all of that plus 2 more things, and well, 3 more things. And all of that is going to be on this plate right here. On this plate right here, we have our actual dinner portion. We have meat and rice. And obviously we did not make meat and rice. And then we have a roasted egg. I would not,
That's an egg.
That is an egg. Do you want to eat this too? It's roasted. And that's a traditional element. You don't have to have the egg if you don't want it. This obviously isn't meat. I wouldn't eat that. But it's our substitute to give you a picture. But lamb is the traditional. If you don't want to go all out with lamb, we're going to have a hamburger recipe that's just hamburger and onion recipe that you can make, and we use that every year because we're cheap. And then you can also use just a batch of rice and just make that up, and that'll complete your dinner element. The only element that's left is the karaset, and that's over here on this plate. And we have this picture that says karaset, and we have an apple here because we didn't make this yet either. But to make this, you dice up your apples, and there's a recipe for it, and you stack your apple in a pyramid shape. And so it's to represent, obviously, the pyramids that the Jewish slaves had to make in their heavy toil in Egypt. So that is what that's supposed to represent. And we'll have a recipe as well as all the other instructions, everything you'll need to know on sheets in the description of the video, on the links on Facebook, wherever you're going to find this, you'll find a way to find all of these resources. They'll also be on our website. So look those up and see what you can find. And I hope you'll join us, and you'll set this stuff up on probably Thursday night and Friday, get it ready to go. And it doesn't have to be fancy. You can go all out, you can go halfway, or you can just sit back and watch the video and just chat with us while we're there and just enjoy the experience and watching people eat crazy bitter herbs. Are you okay now, Xander?
I'll do it again.
We'll do it again next Friday night at 7 o'clock, April 10th. We'll see you there.